Greetings, film fans. Lieutenant Fish is finally back to bring the pain with a new sort of review. This is the first in what I hope will not be a particularly common recurring series. Cinéma de l'Obscur, or Cinema of the Obscure. This additional designation is solely to highlight films that I own, but which I honestly do not have a current, valid means to suggest that the interested person used to track down and view this film. However, I aim to provide a few incentives of my own in this regard. The inaugural title for this variation is the Indonesian supernatural neo-noir title, Kala, or Dead Time. I've found it interesting over the years to consider that, as large as Indonesia is, its cinematic output appears to be disproportionately small compared to less populous countries in the region such as Thailand, Vietnam, or even Singapore. Although from checking IMDb, that situation may be beginning to change. There's a wealth of talented folks throughout the country, but sadly, the numbers of quality flicks that get screened outside the country in festivals, much less released on DVD or other formats, is pitifully small. Thankfully, we have some Western filmmakers like Gareth Evans who are dedicated to promoting Indonesian actors and filmmakers through the films they've made, and there are a growing number of films getting festival releases overseas. Even so, in this digital day and age, when it should be so much easier and cheaper to distribute online, there are still so many quality films being overlooked. Kala, or Dead Time as it's also known, was released in 2007. It was the second feature film from Indonesian writer-director Joko Anwar. It's considered to be the first in a thematic trilogy of horror movies similar to 1980s and 90s Apocalypse trilogy by John Carpenter, which was The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness. In this case, Dead Time is followed by Pintu Terlang, aka The Forbidden Door, which I also own and may review in the future. I don't recall if a third thematic film has been released yet, although Joko has continued making other films and TV shows that I hope to check out in the future. In particular, the Half-Worlds supernatural TV show for HBO Asia that is available via some HBO streaming services or the Australian DVD release. Kala stars Fatri Alba as the narcoleptic journalist Janice, Ario Bayu as the police detective Eros, and actress Farani as the mysterious femme fatale Ranti. The film was apparently set during an unspecified period roughly matching the post-World War II era, based on the clothing and vehicles, and although some anachronistic tools are also present, their uses are limited. The location is also left somewhat nebulous. The city is always left unnamed, although the fictional country of Nusantara is mentioned via legends and descriptions. This is generally understood to be Indonesia in the current vernacular, but it does assist in setting this outside any distinctly recognizable time or place. Additionally, while the film dialogue is nearly entirely in Bahasa Indonesia, there are additionally some key references made in Javanese. As the film opens, a mob has just been agitated and burnt 5 apparently innocent people to death. Janice and Eros are both working the case from different angles, and their fates slowly become intertwined as they attempt to determine the cause of these deaths. An apparently random phrase or invocation appears to be connected to the deaths, but how or why does nearly everyone who hears it wind up dead, often in very brutal or bloody ways? How is this phrase and these deaths connected to a mythical treasure buried in a hidden location outside the city? The story starts on an ominous note, and as the tension rises, so does the body count. Now, as in my previous review of Viva Riva, there are a significant number of noir tropes that are utilized well here, but modified to match the scenario and the setting even more effectively. The characterizations and framing of the setting is very well handled, and works extremely smoothly on the whole. All the performances are excellent, although I would have preferred that Janice and Eros were both a little less soft-spoken in their respective roles. I don't claim to be in the know when it comes to contemporary Indonesian politics. I haven't followed most things too closely outside the larger stories over the last 15 years or so, but it does seem pretty clear that director Joko is making quite a number of contemporary social criticisms in this film. In this vein, that also adds another layer to the film noir parallels, taking us back farther to many of the older themes that have been referenced less in a number of the recent Neo-Noir revival films. Although certain key elements are never named in the film, the dress and behavior of the mob seen briefly throughout bear a great resemblance to similar organizations that have been responsible for a significant sectarian and ethnic violence over the last 20 years throughout Indonesia. Similarly, Minister of Culture Wibowo's appearance in the press conference and doing what he can to hold back the elements of the dissatisfied people over their moral outrage bears a strong resemblance to the behavior of other political leaders during that period. From seeing his other films and following him on Twitter, Joko Anwar has a strong liberal streak, like many filmmakers, but being Indonesian, that still makes him fairly conservative in other ways. That said, given the social climate he's working in, he's made some very brave casting and production choices on this film, and I definitely respect him for that. Again, I'm not in a loop at the moment, but I think it's possible to hypothesize that if this movie were attempted today, a decade later, it may not have been possible to get it made and released domestically. But that may just be my eternal pessimism speaking. So on to the DVD, and this is where things get more complicated. To the best of my knowledge, the Indonesian DVD is the only version available anywhere, period. It appears to be region-free. There are no region coding markings, and VLC has no issues with it. It does have English subtitles, but that's about it. It's a non-anamorphic release. The actual DVD generates a full-frame image with the widescreen picture in the middle. So on a normal widescreen TV now, you have black bars on all 4 sides of the image, which is kind of weird and definitely a step back, even for a 2007 DVD. This format issue is also why my screen grabs are basically blown up frames, since it's not possible to get a larger image without messing with the viewing settings on my laptop. It looks a lot better on a 42-inch TV, trust me. On the whole, the Dolby 2.0 audio is good and the English subtitles are fine and very legible. Although the aspect ratio issue is made much more noticeable in a couple of scenes where there are Bahasa subtitles to match the Javanese dialogue, and the script is extremely small at the bottom of the film image. At the time the film was released on DVD, I was able to get a family member to mail me a few copies from Indonesia, and during that same period there were a couple of Indonesian e-tailers who would ship internationally, but those stores appear to be out of business at this time. So the bottom line appears to me to be, unless you have a connection to Indonesia, you're out of luck getting your hands on this flick. There are a couple of independent streaming services online that appear to have carried this movie in the past, but I don't see anything currently. There may be other ways to view this movie online if you do a couple searches, and I'm not telling you to try them, I'm just saying I have no idea how else you can catch this flick legally. So this is where the contest comes in. If you have purchased this DVD or a legitimate release with English subtitles anywhere else in the world in the last couple of months, and you can provide a link, or you were able to find it online and buy it, I will send you cash money via PayPal to pay you for the cost of your disc, plus the shipping you paid, up to $50 US, to the first person who can show me a photo of their disc with a dated receipt and a link to an in-stock listing at any e-tailer that ships internationally. The fastest way is probably to DM me via Twitter or Gab, but frankly, I don't get that many comments here either, and I read every one. So, bottom line again, this is a very entertaining neo-noir flick that is well done and features compelling characters and an appropriately mysterious plot with only a minor MacGuffin factor. The Indonesian setting, thematic elements combined with the supernatural horror aspects really set it apart from the majority of contemporary films in the region, and in my opinion, this film is definitely worth the effort to track down and watch. It definitely deserves a better quality DVD or Blu-ray release, and hopefully this film will get more attention in the future. If you can watch this film without spending an arm or a leg, please let me know what you think, and I might wind up paying you back as well. As always, if you like this review, please hit the like button, feel free to subscribe or follow me on Twitter, check out my older reviews. New reviews normally on Thursdays, which may switch to Friday soon, other videos when the opportunity strikes. Stay tuned, movie fans. Lieutenant Fish, out.